Hello everyone. Today is third day of presentation season. Fourth day of presentation season 3. And today's topic of my presentation is a representation of queer in cinema. This is my personal information. These are some points to ponder which I am going to discuss in this presentation. First, let's understand what is queer theory. According to Anna Maria Jagosa, since the early 1990s, the term queer has been strategically taken up to significant a wide-ranging and unmethodically resistance to normative modes of sex, gender, and sexuality. Although this use of queer remarks a process of resignificance as a new meaning and values are associated with what was once a term of homophobic abuse. There is always an important sense in which queer maintains, even in changed illocutionary circumstances, its originally charge of shame. The term queer is a necessarily indeterminate, taking on different and sometimes contradictory meaning in different archetypes. Sometimes queer is synonymous with lesbian, gay, for which it becomes a convenient shorthand. At other times, it refers to generation or even fashion led diction between old style lesbian and gay and new style sexual outlaws. A queer theory seeks to, these are some points which a queer theory seeks, like support people in their expression of homosexuality, desire and building gay and lesbian lifestyles, contract homophobic identities, promote the emancipate of homosexuality, be co-sexual, men and women are on equal footing. The term queer is now used to mean both gay and lesbians. Promote the demands and fight for sexual justice as part of social justice. So, queer representation in cinema, like cinema is a medium to convey powerful messages in society. Cinema is a powerful medium to catalyze social changes. Like other arts forms, cinema is a both part of social reality and also a medium of portraying it. Films have subtle influence on society's way of thinking. Cinema has undoubtedly contributed a lot to a queer movement in India. Like we also have this OTT platforms nowadays and also a social media. Social media influence a lot, and representation of queer through social media is also one thing we have to notice nowadays. Uh, Sexual minorities consist all of those people who fall under the categories of lesbians, gays, bisexual, and transgender, like LGBTQ plus. Projection of gender stereotypes in film forms a society's perception of gender roles. The oversaturation of gender stereotype in the films result the misrepresentation of gender roles, which gets embedded in human mind and it's passed on from generation to generation as an acceptable view. Lately, the portrayal of queer people in films have found some sensitive and realistic representation by directors who have tried to carve out a unique space for a representation of queer people through cinema. So I choose two movies. One is from Bollywood, Heart of Bollywood and Indian cinema, and one is from Western cinema. So one from Bollywood is Aligarh, which is directed by Hansal Mehta. So Indian cinema caters to almost all genres and screens all type of issues prevailing in our society. The audience also welcome the sensitive issue which are mirrored in the cinemas or in films. So this Aligarh Films is also released on OTT platform as well as on theater as well, and now it is available on Amazon Prime and Geo Cinema. So yeah, OTTs plays a vital role representing films or anything political or social issues. Aligarh is also one of such movie which has gained the popularity worldwide for its one of the kind and novel theme of at least Hindu film industry. The story is not fiction is one. So this story is based on a real person who is Chandrajut Simar was there, one person who is a professor of Aligarh University. So it is based on the painful sake of professor of Marathi language working at the reputed Aligarh Muslim University. The director Hansal Mehta has very minutely worked upon the social political ideologies of the authorities of AMU, Aligarh Muslim University, and has represented them brilliantly in the movies. So this movie is basically based on a person, a professor who is a Marathi language professor and who is gay. And movie starts with the scene of they were having a loving scene, and some journalist breaking in his house and trying to shoot their personal things. But at the same time, the journalist came, and at the same time, some authorities from Aligarh Muslim University, they are also there. So he was confused that I didn't mention, or I didn't call them to there. So that was a case of this professor. So Manoj Bajpayee has beautifully portrayed the character of Professor Siras in the movie and has completely justified the character of 60, 40-year-old professor who undergoes the disgrace of being homosexual. He puts forward his argument in the court that actions taken by the university has violated the rules of apex court in India, which ensure the right of privacy, and the order of the Delhi High Court is also violence as homosexual was discriminated. So there is a law, like we cannot enter in private space of someone else. So journalists were breaking in his house and they were trying to shoot their personal things. So that was a case. And Rajkumar Rao was playing a young journalist, Deepu Sebastian, who develops a strong bond with Siras and take his case to the court. Deepu's sympathetic attitude towards him comes to a relief to him. Time of turmoil when he is direly needed somebody to tell something and to convince or to confront the things. Like he was not hesitate to this Deepu Sebastian. So he was saying all the incidents what happened that night to Deepu. Meenakshi Shide, so she is a critic of film industry. She remarks that, I quote, Aligarh is a masterfully directed, it is a rare film that courageously stands for human rights, including those of homosexuals, yet offers a quite distributed perspective. So another movie from Hollywood is this Red, White, and Royal Blood. So I chosen two movies which represent homosexuality and as well as the gay, and these both movies have some similarities and have many differences. Like there is only some similarities, but there are many differences. Like in this movie, Red, White, and Royal Blue, they were accepting, like their family were accepting them, and this. Who is the character like Alex and Henry. Alex was a president's son, and Henry was a prince. But in that, we have to see that like Henry's royal blood parents were not accepting him as a having a relationship with a boy. So this July 2023 recent movie, and it is directed by Matthew Lopez. So this movie is based on a book same name, Red, White, and Royal Blue, which is also written by Cassie M. Quist, and she's also a queer person. The story follows Alex Clay Montias, who is the son of first female American president, and his developing relationship with Henry, the Prince of Wales. So this movie, or we can say a story, starts with enemies to lover. Like they were enemies at the first sight, and after developing this interest of both of them, they were becoming a lover. Alex and Henry initially dislike for each other, boils over the catchy's medium attention after they ruin the cake of royal wedding, and to try to limit the diplomatic and medic fall of out, the two have to pretend to be a friend, and they discover that they are having feelings for each other. Like Alex is a bisexual and Henry is a gay. So who is a prince? He was a gay, and Alex, who is a son of president, he was a bisexual. In Red, White, and Royal Blue, Alex and Henry does not just avoid an international diplomatic disaster by falling in love. They give voice to a desires to queer and diverse youth who wants to see a happy ever after and that looks like them representing on the page and the screen. So, Alligator movie ends with the death of Siras, who is a professor, and he died in that movie in the last scene. And this movie has a happily ending. So in this movie, end was like royal blood was. Like this Henry, he trying to convince his parents or majesty and everyone, but they were not happy with their marriage, or we can say their relationship. And in the end, they were crowd outside, like they were supporting them, these people who are having a relationship, and because of that support, they came out. Denethiel Nefitha and her co-authors observes that reader responds to queer representation on red, white, and royal blue. So this paragraph is based on how reader responds to this book. This book is widely selling or also a bestseller of the time. Red, White, and Royal Blue is the instance of a queer books written by a queer author and presented the predominance of LGBTQ plus character in the story. It indicates the novel is supported to meet the reader's expectations towards queer representation in the literary work. We also have works of Virginia Woolf like Orlando, and also we have literary authors like Oscar Wilde. They were also gay, or we can say queer people. This is one of those books that leaves you hopeful while at the same time has you wishing that someone could send you love letters that represent the overreaching themes of your romance. The characters are complex and vulnerable, and the world represented within it is one that at times can seem removed but altogether possible. According to Len Kumoto, he is also a gay writer, and he write a review of this movie, Red, White, and Royal Blue. So he was having a gay perception, or he was a gay. So here is his feeling towards this movie. So I was describing his words. We are living in the golden era of LGBTQ plus movie and TVs, and I have been binge watching all the queer content I never got to see grow up. Most recently, I watched the latest season of Heartstopper. So this is also a queer web series, which is also based on the web, we can say a book series of Heartstopper, as well as the movie Red, White, and Royal Blue. But while watching the sex and kissing scene in both, I found myself nervously holding my breath, or even holding down or looking down. That's when I came to disturbing realization. Nearly 8 years since I came out of the closet, seeing physical queer intimacy on mainstream TV still make me uncomfortable. So he was also a gay person, and while watching this movie, he also feel that this is uncomfortable to watch. But in the end, he says, I'm so happy that the next generation of queer people might grow up seeing people like them being physically intimate with each other. Maybe when they start dating, they wouldn't automatically look over their shoulder when they hold heads with the person they are with. Maybe they will know that they deserve happiness and will not accept relationship surrounds in secrecy. And maybe they will teach me a thing or two about not holding my breath when I see us expressing love out loud. So he was right. Like he was having this thing in mind. Like this is a taboo kind of topic. We all know that in India it is a lot. And he was also trying to say that I am a person, and though I feel uncomfortable, but he was happy that seeing these people who are a next generation gay people or lesbian people, they were accepting their identity as publicly. So here is when we know that in last Tuesday there is a verdict of court, and verdict of same-sex marriages are allowed in India or not. So this is one we can say a video. Let me just play that.
The much awaited judgment regarding the issue of same sex marriage has been pronounced today on 17th of October. The Constitution Bench has pronounced four judgments written by CJI D.Y. Chandrachud, Justices S.K. Kaul, Ravindra Bhatt, and P.S. Narasimha, respectively, with Justice Hema Kohli concurring with the view of Justice Bhatt. The The much awaited judgment regarding the issue of same sex marriage has been pronounced today on 17th of October. The Constitution Bench has pronounced four judgments written by CJI D.Y. Chandrachud, Justices S.K. Kaul, Ravindra Bhatt, and P.S. Narasimha, respectively, with Justice Hema Kohli concurring with the view of Justice Bhatt. The Supreme Court has refused to grant legal recognition for queer marriages in India. But at the same time, four out of the five judges on the bench have agreed to direct the Union of India to constitute a committee to examine the rights of persons in queer union without legal recognition of their relationship as a marriage. CJIDY Chandrachud held that the court could not strike down the provisions of the Special Marriage Act because of institutional limitations, and only the parliament can do that. Regarding the rights on adoption, he held in his judgment that unmarried couples, including queer couples, could jointly adopt a child. However, the Supreme Court declined the right of adoption to queer couples by a 3:2 majority. Justice Kaul also held that it was for the Parliament to decide if queer unions are to be included in the Special Marriage Act. On the other hand, Justice S. Ravindra Bhatt opposed the judgment of the CJI and stated that an entitlement of legal union of marriage could only be through enacted law. But he also concluded that the union shall set up a high powered committee to examine the rights and benefits to queer couples. Justice P.S. Narasimha stated that the right to marriage is a statutory right and it would not be constitutionally permissible to recognize a right to civil union which looks like a marriage. For updates on this issue, stay tuned to Live Law.
Okay, so as you watch this video, so this was a verdict of Supreme Court, and they put all the things to Parliament, or we can say a High Court. So some people from this community are happy, and some people are not happy. Like they were opposing this verdict, and they were supporting CGI, like Chandrachud, and they were saying that is that the things we have to go through. And I think it can be a reason for this community people were going outside of India, so for their legal rights, or we can say for marriages and other things. So that can be a reason.
The much awaited judgment.
In conclusion, it is unfortunate that people back then did not realize that being gay was not something that needed to be hidden behind the curtains. Luckily, Hollywood nowadays has been somewhat comfortable with LGBTQ plus characters in films. More and more films are now available to depict homosexuality in an accurate and positive light. With this progress, LGBTQ plus films are anticipated to not paint gays as a victim of their own sins, but as a diverse group of individuals whose differences and triumphs should be celebrated and not shunned or ignored. Taking Hindi cinema's popularity in consideration, the industry is contributing towards mainstreaming the queer culture in India. Homosexuality is addressed to be no more a taboo in many films of the recent era. Also, many other vernacular in language cinema industries have started picking up LGBTQ theme within it. While advertising such a films, they doesn't use a word of queer, but which itself is to be looked at a paradigm shift. When suggestions for filmmakers are to be considered, the filmmakers might also have to add more voice to the bisexual representation in the films. So this are some references which I have used in my presentation. Thank you. Now, if you have any question, then you can ask.
Drishti, my question is, as the perception of queer in is changing in the recent Indian cinema, is it same for the Indian society?
Okay, so like that was an amazing question, Ganjam. Thank you. So in Indian cinemas, like they were using this queer, or we can say a representation of queer, but in Indian society, it is still a taboo. Like no one were talking in Indian society. Like we have a taboo of sex. Like we are also not mentioning sex or other things, but at the same time we have this kind of taboos, like they were not accepting peoples from another, like transgenders or other LGBTQ community people. They were not accepting them. So yeah, we can say that it is not changing the perspective of society or Indian society towards these people.
What challenges still exist for queer representation in cinema?
Okay, so they are trying to convey the people, like they are representing queer in cinema, but though they are not openly telling people to look at the LGBTQ community like that. And most of the movies which we have watched, that they were trying to create this character as a, we can say, a comic character, or they are victims, or they are tragic characters. But in those movies, like there were serious movies about this topic. Aligarh is also showing the how people of that community were suffering in Indian society. And Red, White, and Royal Blue is trying to say that how royal blood, or we can say a high class people, were not also accepting these kind of things. And these are some challenges which they are might felt in today's time as well. So there is a situation of same, like they were in past or in present, situation is same for these people. Thank you. I hope you are satisfied with my answer. Thank you.